If you are watching this right now, stop for a second and listen carefully because what I am about to say might change the direction of your entire life. Imagine 6 months from today, you walk into a room and someone starts speaking English confidently, and this time you do not freeze, you do not look down, you do not pretend to check your phone, you do not avoid eye contact. This time you respond calmly, clearly, naturally. The words come out without fear. The sentences connect without stress. And people listen to you, not because your accent is perfect, not because your grammar is flawless, but because you are confident. Now, let me ask you something serious. What if that version of you is not far away? What if that version of you is simply waiting for your daily discipline? Most people think learning English is about intelligence. It is not. Most people think fluency is about talent. It is not. Most people think confidence comes first and practice comes later. That is completely wrong. Confidence is built by practice. Fluency is built by repetition. And repetition is built by decision. Right now, the only difference between you and someone who speaks English fluently is not background, not money, not school, not environment. It is daily action. Every single day, you either move closer to fluency or you move away from it. There is no neutral. There is no standing still. If you skip practice, you decline. If you practice, you improve. It is that simple and that brutal. The truth most people do not want to hear is this. You are not stuck because English is hard. You are stuck because your effort is inconsistent. You study for 2 days, then stop for 5. You feel motivated after watching a video, then disappear when it becomes boring. You wait to feel ready before speaking. But readiness is created by speaking, not by waiting. Growth does not happen when you are comfortable. It happens when you are slightly uncomfortable, but you continue anyway. When you speak, even though you are afraid of making mistakes, that is growth. When you write, even though you know it will not be perfect, that is growth. When you listen carefully, even though you understand only 50%, that is growth. And if you repeat that growth daily, it compounds. Most people underestimate compounding effort. They want dramatic transformation. They want to wake up fluent. They want one powerful trick. But language is not built in one moment. It is built in thousands of small moments. 10 minutes of speaking, 20 minutes of listening, 1 page of reading, 1 paragraph of writing, correcting 5 mistakes, learning 3 new words, and actually using them. That is how fluency is created, quietly, repeatedly, patiently. You must understand something very important. Your brain loves comfort. It wants easy entertainment. It wants scrolling. It wants short videos. It wants relaxation. That is natural. But success in any skill, especially language, requires controlled discomfort. When you sit down to practice and your mind says, "Not today," that is exactly when you must practice. When you feel bored after 5 minutes, that is exactly when improvement is starting. When you want to quit because pronunciation feels difficult, that is exactly when your tongue is learning something new. Discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that growth is happening. If you escape every time it feels uncomfortable, you train your brain to avoid progress. But if you stay even for 10 extra minutes, you train your brain to become stronger. And over time, what once felt hard becomes normal. The first time you speak alone in your room, it feels strange. The 10th time, it feels easier. The 100th time, it feels natural. That is the power of repetition. Do not wait for someone to clap for you. Do not wait for friends to join you. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Fluency is built in private before it is displayed in public. When you practice speaking alone, it counts. When you repeat sentences out loud, it counts. When you shadow native speakers, it counts. When you correct your grammar, it counts. When you read slowly and carefully, it counts. Nothing is wasted if you are consistent. The problem is not that you are incapable. The problem is that you underestimate small daily effort. You think because you cannot speak perfectly today, it is not working. But perfection is not the goal. Progress is. If today you speak slightly better than last week, you are winning. If today you understand a little more than yesterday, you are winning. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Focus on your page. Focus on your routine. Focus on your system. The elite learners do not rely on motivation. They rely on structure. They decide in advance what they will study, when they will study, and for how long. They do not negotiate with their feelings every day. They follow the plan. That is what separates dreamers from achievers. So ask yourself honestly, do you have a system, or do you only have wishes? Wishing to speak English will not make you fluent. Scheduling practice will. Watching videos is not enough. Speaking along with them is what changes you. Listening passively is not enough. Repeating actively is what trains your brain. Reading silently is not enough. Reading out loud builds confidence. Writing once a week is not enough. Writing daily builds clarity. The more you treat English like a daily responsibility instead of a temporary hobby, the faster you will improve. You do not need 5 hours a day. You need 1 focused hour, or even 30 serious minutes. But they must be serious. No multitasking, no distractions. Full attention. Because focused practice multiplies results. And here is something powerful. Identity matters more than goals. If you say, I want to speak English, that is a goal. But if you say, I am becoming someone who practices English daily, that is identity. And identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as a disciplined learner, you act differently. When you see yourself as someone who never quits, you continue even when tired. Stop saying, my English is bad. Start saying, I am improving my English every day. The words you repeat about yourself shape your belief, and belief shapes action. You are not behind. You are not too old. You are not too late. Adults learn languages successfully every year. People from small towns become global communicators. Students with average grades become confident speakers. Why? Because they stayed consistent long enough for improvement to show. That is all. There is no secret shortcut. There is no hidden talent club. There's only practice and time. Combine them, and fluency becomes inevitable. Now let us go deeper, because if you truly want transformation, you must understand the long game. Imagine committing to English practice for the next 180 days without excuses. Not perfectly, not dramatically, but consistently. Imagine you wake up every day and give your language 30 to 60 focused minutes. You listen to English while walking. You speak to yourself while cooking. You think in English instead of translating everything. You write short reflections before sleeping. You record your voice once a week and analyze it. At first, you will see small improvements. Maybe pronunciation becomes clearer. Maybe you hesitate less. Maybe vocabulary expands slowly. But around day 60 or 90, something shifts. Sentences start forming faster. Fear starts reducing. confidence starts rising. And then one day, you realize you are not translating as much. You are thinking directly. That moment is powerful, but it only comes to those who survive the boring phase. Most people quit during the boring phase. They quit when progress is invisible. They quit when excitement fades. They quit when results are slow. But the boring phase is where skill is built. Mastery is not exciting in the beginning. It is repetitive. It is structured. It is sometimes frustrating. But frustration is a sign that your brain is stretching. When you struggle to find a word, your brain is searching and building connections. When you repeat pronunciation again and again, your muscles are adapting. When you correct grammar mistakes, your patterns are improving. Nothing is wasted. Even mistakes are valuable data. Do not fear mistakes. Fear quitting. Mistakes mean you are trying. Silence means you are hiding. Speak badly if you must, but speak. Write poorly if you must, but write. Because action creates clarity, and clarity creates confidence. Think about the opportunities that open when you speak English confidently. Better jobs, global communication, international clients, travel without fear, access to information, friendships across countries, online income, interviews, presentations, leadership. English is not just a language, it is a tool. And tools change lives when used consistently. But a tool sitting unused does nothing. Your potential is powerful, but potential without discipline is wasted energy. You must decide who you want to become: the shy person who avoids conversations, or the confident communicator who steps forward. Both futures are possible. So start today. Start small, but start seriously. Protect your practice time. Respect your future self. Do not break promises to yourself. Every time you keep your word and practice, your self-trust grows. And self-trust builds unstoppable confidence. The journey to fluency is not about speed, it is about direction. As long as you move forward daily, you are winning. So make the decision now, not emotionally, calmly, clearly. I will practice every day. I will not wait for motivation. I will build discipline. I will accept mistakes. I will stay consistent for 6 months. And I will become fluent step by step. Because fluency is not magic. It is accumulated effort. And accumulated effort applied daily always wins.